that one there. They got it stopped in the red zone and kept it to a field goal in a one-score game, and we were able to go right back and get the lead back. Was huge. Another huge play in that game was Caden Davis making a tackle on a kickoff. We uncharacteristically did not do a good job of covering that kick, and we had some guys that we got to get that fixed, which we've been outstanding on that. And that play was outstanding by Caden Davis. That's a huge play in the game. We were able to get a stop there, then get it and go back and score again. And then the defense got us off the field again, and we were able to eat clock on offense, eat over 5.5 minutes off the clock, and got down and got a big field goal right there, and Seth made a big kick. So all parts, when the game got on the line, made catches. The other thing, the scramble by Kellen in the fourth on the third down in the last drive was huge. The catch by Anais was amazing. Spiller was awesome in the game. Wiedemeyer, Anais, our offensive line was outstanding. Our defense, like I say, got going in the end right there. Our secondary did a good job. And, our kicking game, we had some flaws, but missed a field goal and had some of those things, but made it when we had to. So just proud of a hard-fought SEC West road win. I thought it was very mature of our team the way we played and handled those situations. So continuing to grow and got to get better. Questions?
All right, let's start off with Chip Howard from Sports Talk.
Jimbo, have you had any contact with Coach Kiffin, and do you have a feel for whether this game will be played Saturday night or not?
No, I have not had any contact with him, and right now we're preparing it as we're playing this weekend right now. We're full go and ready to practice today and been breaking film down and all that good stuff for the last 2 days. Matter of fact, all this weekend and Sunday and today and everything else.
Any contingency plans if the game wasn't played?
And no, I'm all go. We're good for Ole Miss right now.
All right, let's go to Olin Buchanan from Texags.com.
Just because it's your birthday, we don't have to hear you.
Can you not hear me?
You're getting older. Your voice is getting crummy. As you get older, you're losing your voice. You can't get that fixed or something. That happened with old age. My players would be happy if that happened with old age with me.
Yeah, my voice is bad enough as it is. Anyway, regarding your running game, a couple things. First of all, maybe I missed it before, and you've done. But how long have you been working with the eye with Isaiah as a fullback and getting into?
We've done it all year. If you go back, we did it in the Mississippi State game. We did that in the Mississippi State game. We've done it earlier this year. Did it a couple times. So we've done that off and on.
And then what I want to ask you about also is. How do you come up with your rotation with the running backs? Is it something that you pre-arrange, or do you just go by feel? Or
well, a little bit. We know we want to get guys carries. We want to get them in the game, certain series of the game. But also, you have to be flexible depending on the way the game's going, the flow of the game, and the temperament of the game, and the way things are happening. We feel very comfortable putting all those guys in at any time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Gabe Bach from Texags.com.
Yeah, Jimbo, Bobby Brown has gotten to the quarterback in each of his last 5 games. You got to go back before Myles Garrett for somebody to do that as an individual at A&M. What's been the key with Bobby to taking his game to the next level?
Well, first of all, I think Bobby has outstanding ability, size. He's learning to use it. I think Elijah's doing a great job with him technique-wise, and he's learning to be a technical, not just with power and speed. And, you play guys in this league, eventually you play guys as big, as strong as you. He's becoming a better technician. He's playing into understanding the scheme of the defense. And I think Mike and those guys and Elijah or Terry, they're all doing a good job of scheming to create some space for him, and he's doing a good job taking advantage of it.
And a quick follow-up on the running backs. How fired up are you as a play designer and a play caller with these 3 backs? Well, with the do-it-all guy in Anais, the emergence of Achane to go with Spiller, what this offense could do in the run game and the throw game.
Well, it does. They all can see the thing about it, they all can catch the football. And think about it, you can get multiple looks, multiple personnels, multiple groups of the guys, create matchups. And it also gives you a lot of, where Spiller doesn't carry the complete load. Because you're talking about a long season. Like we're 8 games in. Now, we only had a 10-game season this year as far as we're going to have. Next, you have a 12, and then if you're in the playoff 13, 14, that's a lot of bangs and bruises on the body. So, the development of those guys is huge, and they each bring a little different style. So, it's very unique and allows you to do different things. So, the more guys we can get involved, the better, and those guys are doing an outstanding job. Very proud of them.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Thank you.
Let's go to Brent Zorderman from the Houston Chronicle.
Jimbo, your conditioning in the second half in the fourth quarter looked really good. I wanted to ask you about your emphasis on conditioning, not just during a season, but in the off season, and also how you kept them conditioned during that late 3-week layoff as well.
Well, we grinded them on that 3-week layoff. I mean, I'm going to tell you that. We ran them to death. We practiced them. We practiced. I mean, they were full hard practices, like camp practices. We went right back at it. And then got our guys, the normal game weeks like we do. And we go hard, man. Our practice during the week, our players always say the games seem harder than the practices. I mean, the practices seem harder than the games, and that's the way we want it. We grind them out. And like I said, I always say that you don't win because you want to. You win because you train to. And you learn that you can't find out about yourself till you hit those tire marks. Our fourth quarter programs, our summer conditioning, all those things are designed to find out where we are mentally, not just physically. The mental part's got to be there before you get in shape, but then you got to mentally go there and allow yourself to go there and know what you're capable of doing. And we try to stress that. Schmitty does a great job in the off season. We put together the things we do, and then the way we practice. I think it's starting to pay off. It really do.
That was my follow-up, just kind of a testament to the job that Jerry Schmidt has done as your conditioning.
No doubt. Those guys do a phenomenal job in our weight and strength conditioning group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Robert Sessler from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Yeah, Jimbo, how soon could we see Elijah Blades get in a game? And is any other players that opt out to talk to you about coming back?
Yeah, Keyshawn Brown is coming back into practice, and Elijah, and I don't know when we'll see Elijah. We're doing really well. We'll see where his development is and where he's practicing. He seemed to have good practices last week for the most part, so we'll play accordingly.
And I wanted to ask, my original question was on Davis. Does he make a lot of tackles in practice?
Who, Caden? Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
No, he didn't make no tackles in practice. But I'm going to tell you what, you don't realize he's an excellent athlete. I mean, he really is. He is an excellent athlete. And I've been blessed over the years to have Graham Gano was a phenomenal athlete. Dustin Hopkins was. Roberto was. All of our kickers. I mean, we've had some guys. And I'm going to tell you, when you have a kicker there, you don't think about that. When he's athletic and can get a guy on the ground as a last resort, man, that's a big thing now. And he's a big, long, athletic guy, Caden is, and he can run. I mean, he is. And his speeds, when we run in the offseason, his speeds are up there with some of our really good skill guys. I mean, he's a very good athlete, very strong too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Tyler Shaw from KBTX.
Coach, for a lot of this season, run game has obviously been important to the offense and controlling the clock. And I'm curious, when you look at Ole Miss, how important is that game going to be, controlling the clock against an offense?
Well, I mean, you want to control the clock, but here's the key to controlling the clock. You score points on the drives. If you don't, time management and control of the clock is only good if you score points. You know what I mean? I mean, like today, probably time management right now is least important in winning for most people because everybody's explosive and you create big plays. But if you're doing that and you help your defense and you're scoring points at the time and you break the rhythm of the offense, then that's when it becomes very vital. And I think that's the key. We're scoring touchdowns and scoring points in those drives, and it's very critical, not just eating the clock, but how we do it and making the plays in the red zone. If you look, our efficiencies in the red zone have been really good, except for the other day, our third down efficiencies have been outstanding. And that's the other thing you do. When you eat like that, you got to be a very good third down team, but you got to be in third and manageable situations, which we weren't in the LSU game. So all those things combined with clock management is very important.
All right, next up is Mike Lucas from KX.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned it last week, and then you mentioned it again after Auburn, how your team's continuing to learn how to win. When you say that, what actually goes into learning how to win?
To playing the next play and not feeling sorry for yourself and not worrying about the outcome, not looking at the scoreboard and saying the sky is falling. It's play the next situation. What do I have to do? How do I have to do it? That team is competing hard. I got to raise my game. I can't feel sorry for myself. I can't look for a hole to hide in and say it's not my fault. Instead, I grab a guy and say, come on, we're going into this battle. And it's all a psychological disposition of how to compete. And that's what it is. And don't look for answers to lose. Find ways to win and have success. And if you don't, you put your head on the pillow at night and you go to sleep and you don't worry about it. But it's attacking those situations. The pressure is only if you allow that you worry about outcomes. We worry about the next play, what my assignment is. I know what to do, how to do it. There's no pressure. I know the answer to the test. So let me go do it. And the things that go on. And I think there's perseverance and not worrying about outcomes and looking at scoreboards and the way the ebbs and flows of the game. You want momentum in the game's going against us. You know how you change it? Go make good plays right in a row, a bunch of them right in a row, and play with consistency. And I think we're learning that and not getting caught in the flows of the game and learning to control what we can control. And we can change the momentums when we play well.
And if I could ask one more, Coach, real quick. When you look at Corral, the Ole Miss quarterback, is he as good as some of the other guys you guys have faced this season?
Oh, no doubt. This guy's outstanding, man. You watch him, his arm action, his accuracy, his ball down the field, creates plays with his arm, creates with his legs, very tough, competitive, athletic. I'm very impressed with him now. I think he's a very, very, very good football player.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Let's go to Zach Taylor from WTAW.
Yeah, Jimbo, I was just curious about this. From your vantage point, what do you think the term convincing win means? And do you think that should be something that people take into account when ranking teams?
SEC wins are very convincing, I promise you that. Anytime you win the SEC West, it's very convincing. The best league in ball, the best players in ball, they're all very convincing. But, I mean, listen, convincing wins, it's an opinion. You got to base things on facts. And we're in and our world in the media right now has got to be my opinion and not what's based on facts or how I feel and then expert. I mean, you got to let the people who are on the committees and those things do it. You can't worry about that. And, you know, you got to play what you do what you do, control what you control, and then convincing's in the eyes of the beholder. You know what I mean? I mean, in my opinion. And I think, you know, where is running somebody out of the stadium and embarrassing somebody? Where has that ever become good? What dignity is in that? Not saying you don't do that, and the guys don't. I'm just using that for an example. Does that mean convince I go score as many points as I can, I control the game? There's a lot of things that go into this. How about just play your best football, do it the right way, do it with class, do it with dignity? Those are convincing wins against good opponents.
In your eyes, do you feel like you guys have a lot of convincing wins this year?
We're playing in the SEC West. Those are, like I just said, SEC West wins are very convincing. And SEC East wins, SEC wins, period, are very convincing. Now, that's up to everybody else. I'm not worried about what they think. I'm worried about how we play.
Thanks.
Let's go to Andrew Hattersley from Gig'em 247.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Given how dynamic Isaiah Spiller, Devon Outshane, and Anais Smith have been, has there been any consideration to getting them all on the field together at the same time?
They have been, I believe. At the time. We're getting old wishbone like Oklahoma. We're getting old wishbone. Give them one at fullback, two tailbacks, and we're on the old bone and come downhill at you. Hey, you may give me an idea. The other teams better get ready to prepare for it. But no, we have. I believe we haven't put them all together, but at different rotations and groups. But yeah, you never know what could happen.
And then, is there any expectation on when Damani Richardson might return, or any idea when he?
We're hoping day to day. I mean, anytime, and hopefully he'll get back soon because he's a very important part. That's the other thing. We played, had a big part of our defense out with him right there last week. So that was still outstanding by our defense, especially the way we rose up in the fourth quarter and played great D.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next up is Mark Passwaters from Rivals.com.
Coach, I wanted to ask about the play of the defensive ends, especially in the fourth quarter. It may not have had great numbers, but they were real key elements on, kind of shutting that defense down. I was wondering if you talk a little bit about the play of Leal and Tyree.
Both of them played really well, and I think Hansford had a big sack in there too. There was a big play in that game too when we were running out the clock. If you don't remember, Hansford not only was sacking Bo, but he got his right arm where he couldn't throw that ball away, which got him down, which ate about another 20, 25 seconds off. That goes, I think, when unnoticed too, was big. But Leal and Tyree have been outstanding. When our ends are playing, they play with great discipline. They're big. You got big guys, small guys that can rush, but they play with physicality. They understand leverage. They understand contain. And they run their stunt games very well and how to play. But those guys have really been good now. I mean, they really have. They're really good players.
There was a comment that Jalen made in the postgame Saturday about we prepare for the fourth quarter. We practice for this. Is that just the physical nature of practice, or is there something special that you guys do?
It's the way we believe in that. The way we practice, how hard we practice, the physicality in which we practice, and the tempo at which we practice every day with the good on good. I mean, we finish up. You got to remember, we're finishing up with good on good at the end of practice, along with we've already done 2 other periods of good on good in the middle of practice, along with scout work. So, our kids, the way we practice, they have understanding now the toughness that goes with it and the mental toughness and the conditioning. It's happening and it's helping.
All right, thanks.
Let's go to Chuck Carlton from the Dallas Morning News and then Randy McElroy.
Jimbo, there was a lot of opportunity the last couple of weeks for your team to get distracted, whether it was the COVID layoffs or the playoff or whatever. What does it say about your guys that they've retained their focus?
Well, I think the leadership of our team, the guys are keeping guys on task. I mean, coaches, you can remind them all day long, but I think it's the leadership of our team that's reinforcing the things we say And they're managing the team, they're running the team. We're setting the rules, and those leaders, the leadership of that team is doing an outstanding job of that. And I think it's the bond in which they have, the respect in which they have for each other. And I say that. Everybody says you love each other, you trust you, but listen, you got to respect the guy on your team first. And when you start there, then you get the love, the trust, and all the things that go with it. And I think those things are coming together as a football team.
All right, let's go to Randy McElroy with KPRC in Houston, and then we'll go back to Owen.
Hey, Jimbo, can you address and tell us how impressed you are with the chemistry that Mond and Weidemeyer have developed, and this specifically Weidemeyer's game, and just kind of what he brings and what sets him apart out there for you guys?
Well, I think they have each other. They've worked so much together, but Jalen is because he can run like a big guy, he can get in and out of cuts like a small guy. His body is big. He can control it. He's got great ball skills, and he understands how to get his body in position. And Kellen has great trust in him, and he's an easy guy to read, if that makes any sense. When you're running, there's certain receivers you play with, and I've been with some good ones. I play, sometimes they're just hard to read. You're not sure exactly. You end up getting the ball. But there's some guys, man, you just get that flow. You can tell by his body movement when he's going to stick it, when he's going to not, and you get the trust of each other. And Kellen will put balls in holes where sometimes he might not, or let him be up high and where he likes it. And there's a tremendous chemistry between those two. But I think it's because both of them do their job very well. It makes it easy.
All right, we got two more questions on the queue. We'll go to Owen Buchanan and then Chip Howard.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about the guys that have wanted to opt back in. Do you think it's just simply because you are doing so well, or do they give you any other?
No, I mean, like this information. When you make a decision, information changes over time. Sometimes you reflect on your decision. Some things change in your life. Some things happen in your life. Some things, whatever. And I think those are a lot what's going on. And there was a lot of turmoil and confusion going on at that time in America. We had a lot of unknowns. You have a lot of young people making decisions, and now they make decisions based off the information they have now. And I think that's it. I think and wanting to come back. And like I said, that door has always been open. They've always been a part of our family, and we want to help them. And the big thing we've done, made them all for 2 or 3 weeks. They've conditioned before they've ever gotten back on the field. We made sure they were physically ready to do it, and now those guys are getting back in position. And if they can help us down the road, then they can.
All right, we'll wrap it up with Chip Howard from Sports Talk.
Jimbo, you mentioned their quarterback. What about Metcalf at receiver? He's leading the nation in a lot of categories.
They move him all around, double move you, catch you short, catch you deep, run with the ball, make you miss, plays in the backfield. I mean, that guy does it. Punt returns, he does everything, man. That guy, he's a heck of he's a heck of a football player. I think he's 90 catches in 8 games. Is that right? Does that sound right?
Close. Yeah.
It's something like that. I mean, 11, 12 catches. Yeah, I mean, his numbers would be through the roof in the full season, man. He is having an outstanding year. Really good football player.
So when you have a guy like that, I guess it's pretty obvious, but you have to pay special attention and account for him on every play.
Oh, no doubt. Where he lines up, what it triggers, what it doesn't trigger. And it's not just him now. They've got other guys that have really come on and made a lot of plays. And they run the football. They still run the football very well with their backs and the quarterback. So they've got a lot of packages. But you have to be aware of where he's at. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the questions we have for you, Coach. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. Y'all have a great day. Happy birthday.